Hello, today in this presentation let us learn how to create an Elasticsearch cluster. So to create an Elasticsearch cluster we will be needed 3 virtual or physical machines, and they should be connected via LAN so that they can communicate each other. So if you are going to create your Elasticsearch cluster in local machine and you have only one computer available, then you can just take help from any hypervisor software like VMware or VirtualBox. Here in my case I have created 2 virtual instances. Like I have installed Ubuntu server there in 2 of my virtual nodes, and another is my host machine. So these 3 I will be using for creating the Elasticsearch cluster, and it is recommended to have at least 3 nodes in an Elasticsearch cluster. Though you will be able to create Elasticsearch cluster with 2 nodes as well, but you will not get all the benefits. So to get all the benefits of a cluster, there must be at least 3 nodes there. Okay, so here another just configuration I want to show you, that as these nodes must be able to communicate each other, some network settings will be needed. Like here I'm using the bridged adapter and some interface so that it can communicate with the host machine and in between themselves. Okay, so let us just launch these 2 nodes. I'm logging in. Okay, I'm in. Now first thing I will do, that I will check the IP address of this particular node. So I am just going to use ifconfig inet. So here you can see this IP address I will be needed. This is 192.168 and 104. Okay, I'll be using this IP address, and let me just launch the other virtual node as well. So I'm getting into the second VirtualBox machine. So here also I'll just check what is the IP address. So here the IP address is 105. You can check 192.168.1.105. So now what I will do, I'll just do SSH to both of these nodes from this terminal window. I'm going to use this particular window for my host machine, and I will just configure Elastic Node 1 here, and here I will just SSH to my another VirtualBox machine, and I will just use this as node 2, and this is for node 3, and this I will be using as client to check whether the Elasticsearch is running or not, etc. Okay, so let me just SSH to these 2 virtual boxes. SSH username at whatever the IP address was. One was 104. Yes, I am there inside Ubuntu 2204, and let me just log into the another VirtualBox from this particular window. Yes, I'm there. So this is node 3, this one node 1, and this is node 2. Yes, so first I'm going to set up my Elasticsearch cluster at node 1, that is in my host machine, and that is, you can see, this is my host machine. Okay, so what I will be doing, I will just create a separate folder for Elasticsearch. So let me just choose a folder. You can do it anywhere. So I am just going to use this particular location. I've created one folder here. Let me check whether it is there. Yes, I've created one folder. Yes, cluster named. I'm going to install my Elasticsearch here in this folder. cd yes cluster. You can see the permission here. You need to have your ownership. The user who is going to run, he must have the ownership to this particular folder. Okay, so here let me just clear the screen and let me just, what is there? Nothing is there. So first of all, what I will do, I will download Elasticsearch from I'm just going to open my browser. Let me just type download Elasticsearch, and I'll download the latest version of Elasticsearch. So this is my Linux Ubuntu x86-64 machine. So I'm just going to copy this link and address, and we'll wget here. Here download is complete. Let me just check here. Okay, here is the file. Let me just enter this. Here is the folder that has been extracted. Let me just clear the screen, and now we'll go to the configuration file. So vi config / elasticsearch.yml. Okay, let me just check. So first what we'll do, this is the cluster name. We are just going to set sub cluster name here. So here it is the default name. Just let me just my ES cluster. I'm just going to name this. You can give any name like my production cluster or my test cluster. Okay, so I'm just going to name it my ES cluster here. And one thing is that the same cluster name you need to keep for the other node configuration as well. And for this I'm just going to put the node name here. So let us just keep it as it is, node 1. And I'm just skipping the other configurations. Let's just path, data and logs, everything's to go with the default values. And here is the important configuration I need to change. This is the network host, and this is the network host. Is the LAN IP address I need to put here. So my host machine IP address is 107. So I'm just going to update it accordingly, 192.168.1.107. Whatever the IP address you have for your machine, then just put the LAN IP address here. Okay, so this is the HTTP port. I am just keeping it as it is, 9200. And here is the discovery seed host, and here you need to put all the IP addresses or the host names of the machines which are involved in this cluster. So here I'm just going to use IP address. So first IP address of this my this host machine 107, and also we checked that the other IP addresses, like for this we had IP addresses. So here the IP address is this one. Okay, so let me just copy and paste this one there, and for the other machine the IP address was 105. Okay, so I have given all the IP addresses here of the nodes, and here we are going to make all of these 3 nodes as master eligible nodes. So here you need to give the initial master nodes. So initial master nodes will contain all the node name. So one thing, just remember here that this is the host. Okay, this is the host information you need to provide here, either IP address or the host name. If you have configured any DNS against this IP address, that host name will be need to be put here. And for here, this is the different thing. This is the node name. So whatever the node name you have given here for this configuration, so here for this particular node I have given node 1. For this I will be giving node 2, and for this node 3. So I'm just going to put here all of this value, the initial master node, whatever the in this cluster. So for getting an election to happen, it will check whether these masters are there or not. Okay, so at least 2 masters will be required to in this cluster. So I'm just going to put the other values, node 3. So here you can check there are 3 values are there. Okay, great. So this is almost done, and let me just put some other configuration, like, so I'm just going to disable the ML feature. I'm not going to use it for the time being in build. So this value I'm going to make as false. So this is all. I'm just going to save it. So let me just open the configuration one more to have a look once. Let's just revise it. So first what I have done, I have given a cluster name, that is my ES cluster, and after that a node name. After giving the node name, I have given the network host IP addresses here, the IP address of this particular machine, and this is the common default port where Elasticsearch will be running, and this is the discovery seed host. This information is required so that this particular node can discover the other nodes. Okay, so here you need to mention all the IP address of the nodes or the host names. Port name or add here is the cluster initial master nodes. That is the node name of each of these master eligible node you need to put here. Okay, so let's just get started. And another configuration I need to change here, the config / JVM options. So I will just put here instead of these, whatever the Java what amount of memory Java is going to use, you can mention here. As I am going to configure this in my single computer and there is a limited amount of memory, so I'm just going to make it very small, 256 M. I'm just going to save this. Okay, for production you just give enough memory here. So now I will just start this bin/elasticsearch. Some here error is happening. Let me just check what is the error first. Okay, so another configuration is you need to check that we need to disable the security, as we are not going to enable, so it just put this expect security enabled. Copy, I'm just going to put it here, vi config/elasticsearch.yml. so here I'll just add this particular line, security, for this, as I'm going to doing some test. Otherwise, if security is enabled, then you need to configure a number of things like SSL certificates, etc. Okay, so I'm just, for the sake of simplicity, for learning purpose, I'm just going to keep it disabled. So let us just run it again. It is started. Confirm whether the Elasticsearch node 1 is running or not. Let's just curl it. Curl, give the IP address 192.168.1.107 and the Elasticsearch port. Okay, so here we can see that node name is node 1 and the cluster is the cluster name we gave in our configuration. So this is up and running. So it is waiting for, you can see that the other nodes to get elected as master. So if you just want to fetch any node information here, it will not be able to provide you. Like if you just want to give it here get nodes, it will fail. It will give some kind of error here. It will not be able to show. Okay, let us just start the configure and start the other nodes. So let me just go to the node 2 window here. I'll be creating the other node. Okay, so let's go to the location, user local src yes cluster. I already have created the folder and downloaded Elasticsearch here, so let me just re-extract it. I'm going to download the folder. Okay, here. So tar zx elastic. You can see here we are attempting to find the node information. So here it is showing that some error has occurred and the master not discovered exception. Okay, because we only have one node till now, so no master has been elected, so it's not able to give you the node information. So until another node getting started, it will wait for the election to happen. So here in node 2 I have extracted the Elasticsearch files. So let me just open the config for this. We will do the similar configuration here, config/elasticsearch. Sorry, let me get into the directory, vi config/elasticsearch.yml. So here we need to put the same cluster name we gave for node 1. So it was my ES cluster. So let me just copy it from here. It is copy paste, and here I'm just going to change the node name here. This is the configuration will be different from the other node. Instead, earlier it was node 1, I'm just going to put here node 2, and no other configuration is going to get changed except this IP address. This network host, you need to put the IP address of this particular host. So I think the IP address of this is 104 and this is 192.168.1.104. And let me just enable this port just and keep it as it is. And here seed host will require all the IP addresses here, so I'm just going to put the IP address here. Let me just copy it from here. All three IP addresses. This configuration will remain same for all of these nodes. There was 104, this is for this particular instance, and another was 105. Here this is the same, and here also the initial master node configuration will remain, as it is. So it will be same for all nodes, node 1, node 2, and another I am just going to add node 3. Here let me just disable the ML because it will use huge amount of memory, so I'm not going to use that. expect.ml dot enabled, this will be false. And another, we're just going to disable the security. expect dot security dot enabled, this is going to get if false, so I have written it wrongly. Okay, it's okay now. So if you just want to review the configuration once more, let's just have a look. So you have given the cluster name same as it is node 1. Just here difference is in these two configurations, that is the node name and this network host IP address. These two are different from node 1. Other all the configurations are same as it is. So let me just save this. Okay, I'm just going to update the JVM configurations here. So heap size, I'm just going to update it to 256 M, 256 M, 256 M. Okay, it is done. Save and close. Let me just confirm the IP address once. I have configured as 104. Yes, it is 104. Okay, clear. Now I'm just going to start it. Elasticsearch bin/Elasticsearch. Okay, let's wait. It's getting started. You just see here one thing request here, one node has been discovered. You can see something happened. Okay, so let me just check whether this node 2 is running properly or not. So I can check it from this client. So earlier I checked it with 107, so let me just check it 104. Yes, it is up and running. Now if we want to fetch the node information, let's just do cat nodes. This command I'm just going to run. Just clear, I'm not sure whether it's coming in the screen or not. Okay, let me just going to run this cat nodes command. It will give you the node information. So you can see two nodes are there, node 1 and node 2. Node 1 is 107 IP and node 2 is 104 IP address, and this star shows whether which one is the master. So node 1 is elected as master. So here this currently this Elasticsearch is running as a 2-node cluster. Okay, so if you just want to see what are the number of indices are there, all information it will be able to show you. Okay, no indexes is there. Let's just create one index, and after that we will create the other Elasticsearch node. So that is what I was earlier saying, that you are able to create an Elasticsearch cluster with 2 nodes as well, because you can see that cluster is up and running properly. But only disadvantage is that if any one of this node goes down, then entire cluster will become broken. So that is one disadvantage you have. So that is not what we want in case of an Elasticsearch cluster. We want the high availability there to be available. And so if you have 3 nodes configured, then what happens if one node goes down, then the other node 2 will keep the Elasticsearch cluster running. So your application will not get any kind of downtime because of Elasticsearch. So meanwhile you will be able to fix the other down node so that it becomes again a 3-node cluster. So that is why it is recommended to have at least 3 nodes in an Elasticsearch cluster. Okay, so let us just create one index. So I will write curl. I have not configured Kibana yet, otherwise I could have done this from Kibana. So let me just do it from terminal. Export, I need to keep the IP address of any of the node. Let me just keep this. I'm keeping the index name books. Okay, let's try to create. Yes, you can see the response: acknowledge true, search acknowledge true, index books. Okay, so if I just want to do cat indices now, you will be able to see that one index it is showing. So books, it is there. And if you just query, I have created this index at node 107. Okay, and if you just want to do cat indices at 104, you will be able to see that. Here also you can see the similar kind of information. And if you just want to see where the information exists, let's just index some data into this index and check. To run this particular command, I will just do curl exposed -dul provide the data that I'm just going to give one field to this index, that is the name, my book, and dash header I'm just going to put as content type application JSON, because it will receive only JSON kind of data. So let me just run this. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention the URL here. Curl exposed. So here I need to give the IP address HOD, give the index name books underscore doc. Yes. Okay, index, you can see that one index has been created. Now let us see. You can see one hit is there. We inserted one data and the data we inserted at node 104, that is node 2. Let me just try to check whether the same data is propagated to other node. You can see the same from other node 2 as well. Okay, so now this is our 2-node cluster. It will give you the information of the node. So this is 2-node cluster, and there is one index is there with one document inside it. Okay, so let us now create the other node. So here I already have downloaded Elasticsearch, you can see. So I will just open the configuration file. I'll do the similar kind of configuration here. So I'll put the cluster name. So it was my ES cluster, and the node name will be Noode-3 here in this case. I'm just going to change this Noode-3, and I'll keep the things as it is. Only need to change the network host 1.105. this is, I'll enable it and I will keep it as it is. Next, you just put the IP addresses of all 3 nodes here, and I'll just enable the initial master node configuration and put node 1, node 2, and node 3 here. And I'm just going to disable the ml expect.ml.enabled false, and security expect.security.enabled, this will be false. It is done. Let me save and close, and I'll just open the JVM configuration and do the memory limit. So let me just enable both of these entries, and I will just put 256M. Yes, it is done. We are all set, and I'm just going to run Elasticsearch here. Yes, let's see what happens. Okay, it has successfully started, I think, and now let us check whether this node 3 is up and running or not. So let me just call first. 105 is the IP address. So here you can see it is name is Noode-3 and cluster is this, and it is up and running. Now let's see now do cat nodes here. So cat nodes will show you 3 node now. So this is the master node, node 1, node 2, and node 3. You can see our cluster is set up properly. And if we just do cat indices at this node 3, then let us see whether we had one index. Let us check whether it is propagated there or not. I'll do cat indices to node 3 with IP address 105. Yes, let us say check. Yes, you can see it is available there also. Let us see whether the data exists properly there or not. So we'll just query. Let me just query it. Books search pretty. It should show one information, one document there. Yes, it is there. So our Elasticsearch cluster is up and running properly. So now let us check if high availability is there or not. Let us open the cat node output here once. Here you can see that currently we have 3 nodes, and node 1 is master, another 2 nodes are working as slave nodes. So now let's just intentionally crash node 1. I'm just going to stop, just Control C will stop on node 1. So node 1 is down now, and now we can see that some error happened here in these 2 nodes, and they are again started recovering, and new election has happened and new master will be elected out of these 2 nodes. Now let us see what is the status of our cluster now. Okay, I will just do cat nodes. You can see it's as this particular node is down, so it is not able to give you the any information about the cluster or anything. So here I need to put any one of the other 2 IP addresses, 104 or 105 will give you the response. So here you can see currently we have the 2 node cluster. Okay, and no data is lost. And if you just check here, I'm just querying Noode-3 with cat indices. It has 1 index, it should be there. And if you just do books underscore search pretty, it will give you the 1 information. Again, if I just make another node down, the cluster will be broken because we will need at least 2 nodes running in our cluster. So now what we will do, let us just run node 1 again. So I'm just going to run it. Now let us see if our cat nodes, what is it showing? It's still showing that 2 nodes are there because node 1 is getting started. Now let us see how many nodes are there. Yes, it's up. You can see node 1 has been started and it is showing in the list. So now this is all from my side. So another prerequisite we had, I just forgot to mention in the beginning. So you just need to open this vi etc sysctl.conf. So this configuration is not required for running a standalone Elasticsearch, but it is required when you are running any cluster. Okay, so this max map count for the virtual memory, you need to increase this value. You can see the minimum value required for Elasticsearch cluster, it is 262.144. So you just need to enable this configuration or make this entry in the sysctl configuration file. Okay, hope you have enjoyed this video. Hey, thanks for watching this video.